What if I told you that an AI could build an online business while you sleep? No warehouse, no employees, no experience, just a laptop in 7 days. That's exactly what I decided to test. I gave artificial intelligence one mission: make money through dropshipping before the week ended. What happened next completely changed how I see online business. I wasn't trying to become rich overnight. I wanted something much more valuable: the truth. Could AI actually replace hours of research, product hunting, copywriting, and marketing? Or was the internet selling another impossible dream? By the end of this experiment, I had made mistakes that cost me money, discovered tools that saved me hours, and learned one lesson almost nobody talks about. If you're thinking about starting AI dropshipping, this story might save you weeks of frustration. The rules were simple: 7 days. Start from zero. No existing store. No audience. No expensive software. Every important decision had to involve AI in some way. Most people fail before they even begin because they believe success comes from finding the perfect product. But psychology tells us something different. People don't buy products. They buy emotions. They buy solutions. They buy hope. Instead of asking AI, "What should I sell?" I asked a better question: what problems make people pull out their credit card without thinking twice? Everything changed. Within minutes, AI generated dozens of business ideas: posture correction, pet owners, kitchen gadgets, sleep improvement, fitness recovery. It wasn't magic. It was pattern recognition at a speed no human could match. But having hundreds of ideas creates a new problem: decision paralysis. The more options we have, the harder it becomes to choose. Psychology calls this the paradox of choice. So I gave AI one final instruction: find a product that solves an emotional problem, not just a physical one. Its answer surprised me. Chapter 2. Can AI build an entire store? Most beginners waste days designing a website that nobody visits. I refused to make that mistake. Instead, I challenged AI to build a store that looked trustworthy in hours, not weeks. The logo, product descriptions, homepage copy, FAQs, policies. AI generated everything in minutes. Watching the store come together felt almost unreal. But then I noticed something dangerous. Everything sounded perfect, too perfect. And that's exactly what makes customers suspicious. Human beings trust imperfections. A tiny personal touch often feels more authentic than flawless marketing. That's something no algorithm truly understands unless you tell it to. That became my first real lesson. AI isn't a replacement for judgment. It's an amplifier. If your thinking is weak, AI makes weak ideas faster. If your thinking is strong, AI becomes incredibly powerful. The store was finally ready. Now came the real test. Could complete strangers trust a brand that didn't even exist a few days earlier? The answer would determine whether this experiment succeeded or completely failed. Chapter 3. The first visitors. The store was live. Everything looked professional. The product page was polished. The checkout worked perfectly. There was only one problem. Nobody knew the store existed. An online business without visitors is like opening a beautiful shop in the middle of an empty desert. AI suggested creating short advertisements for social media. It generated headlines, product descriptions, video ideas, even customer avatars. Tasks that once took days were finished in less than an hour. But speed creates a dangerous illusion. Just because something is finished doesn't mean it's effective. The internet isn't impressed by effort. It rewards attention. I launched the first campaign. Then I waited. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. Every notification made my heart race. Every second felt longer than the last. Finally, the first visitor arrived. Then another. Then 5 more. Watching strangers land on a website that didn't exist yesterday felt unreal. But visitors don't pay bills. Customers do. Chapter 4. The silent enemy. Nobody talks about. Hours passed. More visitors came. But nobody bought anything. At first I blamed the product, then the website, then the advertisements. But the real problem wasn't outside. It was inside my own mind. Our brains hate uncertainty. The moment results don't appear immediately, we assume we're failing. Psychologists call this outcome bias. We judge decisions by short-term results instead of long-term quality. AI couldn't fix impatience. It couldn't control emotions. It couldn't stop me from refreshing analytics every 30 seconds. Some battles are deeply human. That's when I realized something powerful. AI isn't competing against humans. It's competing against human hesitation. The faster you learn, the faster you improve. Instead of quitting, I started studying every click. Where did visitors stop? What confused them? What made them leave? Every failure became data, and data became direction. Chapter 5. The first sale. Late that evening, a notification appeared. At first I ignored it. Then I looked again. Someone had placed an order. A complete stranger had trusted a business that was only days old. The money wasn't life-changing, but psychologically, it changed everything. Because the impossible had become possible. Confidence isn't built by motivation. It's built by evidence. Then came the second order. Not immediately, not magically, but gradually. That's how real businesses grow. Quietly, one customer at a time. I also made mistakes. Advertisements that wasted money. Product descriptions that sounded robotic. Images that failed to build trust. AI accelerated everything, including my mistakes. By the end of the 5th day, one truth became impossible to ignore. AI wasn't the business. It was the tool. The real advantage wasn't artificial intelligence. It was better decision-making. And the biggest lesson of the experiment was still waiting. Chapter 6. The mistake AI couldn't prevent. By day 6. I thought I had finally figured everything out. The store looked better. Traffic was increasing. Orders were coming in slowly. I started believing the hardest part was over. I was wrong. Success has a strange way of making people careless. Instead of improving one thing at a time, I changed everything. New product page, new headlines, new pricing, new advertisements. When results slowed down, I had no idea which change caused the problem. This is one of the biggest mistakes beginners make. They confuse activity with progress. Being busy feels productive, but constant change destroys clear thinking. AI can generate thousands of ideas, but it can't decide which one deserves patience. That's still your responsibility. Technology gives options. Wisdom chooses one. So I stopped changing everything. I made one improvement. Then I waited. For the first time all week, I wasn't chasing speed. I was chasing clarity. Chapter 7. Why customers actually buy. Most people believe customers buy because a product is cheap. That's rarely true. People buy because they trust the person behind the product. Trust is invisible, but it's often the most valuable thing a business owns. I rewrote the product page, not to sound smarter, but to sound human. Instead of promising perfection, I explained exactly who the product was for and who it wasn't. Something surprising happened. Visitors stayed longer. More people reached checkout. Nothing magical had changed. Only the feeling. Psychology often beats technology. Behavioral scientists call this cognitive ease. When people understand something quickly, they naturally trust it more. Confusion creates doubt. Clarity creates confidence. That's when I realized something bigger than dropshipping. The businesses that win aren't always the smartest. They're often the easiest to understand. Chapter 8. The real power of AI at the beginning of the challenge. I thought AI was going to replace human work. By the end, I realized it was doing something completely different. It was removing unnecessary work. The hours I used to spend writing descriptions, researching products, or designing pages could now be spent learning customers. And customers are where businesses are truly built. That's the hidden advantage most people miss. AI doesn't automatically create winners. It creates time. And what you do with that time determines everything. Some people will use AI to create thousands of average businesses. Others will use it to build one remarkable business. The tool is the same. The mindset is different. 7 days earlier, I thought this experiment was about making money. Now I understood. It had been teaching me something much bigger. And the final lesson would stay with me long after the experiment ended. Chapter 9. Day 7. The numbers didn't matter. The 7th day finally arrived. I opened the dashboard expecting one simple answer. Did I win? Or did I fail? But the numbers on the screen told only a tiny part of the story. The biggest result couldn't be measured by sales. Yes, there were sales. There were expenses. There were moments of excitement and moments of doubt. But every dollar earned represented something much bigger. Proof that complete strangers were willing to trust something I had built from nothing. Most people think success begins with profit. It doesn't. Success begins the moment reality replaces imagination. The first sale isn't valuable because of the money. It's valuable because it destroys the excuse that it's impossible. 7 days weren't enough to build $1 million company, but they were enough to build something even more important. Momentum. And momentum changes people. Looking back, the hardest challenge was never finding products, building websites, or writing advertisements. It was learning to think like a business owner instead of someone hoping to get lucky. Chapter 10. The lesson that changed everything. People often ask whether AI is replacing entrepreneurs. I think they're asking the wrong question. The real question is, will entrepreneurs who learn AI replace those who refuse to adapt? History already knows the answer. Every generation experiences a technological shift. Some people fear it, others ignore it. A small group chooses to understand it. And those people usually build the future everyone else talks about years later. AI isn't magic. It won't guarantee success. It won't eliminate failure. But it gives ordinary people something previous generations never had: a chance to move faster than ever before. The biggest surprise wasn't discovering what AI could do. It was discovering what I could do once repetitive work stopped stealing my attention. That's where the real advantage lives. If this experiment taught me anything, it's that businesses aren't built by perfect tools. They're built by people willing to keep improving after imperfect results. AI simply makes that journey faster. 7 days ago, there was no store, no customers, no proof, just an idea and the courage to test it. Today, the business is still small, but it exists. And that's how every meaningful journey begins. Not with certainty, but with action. Maybe AI won't build your dream for you, but it might remove enough obstacles for you to finally build it yourself. Sometimes, the greatest technology doesn't change the world. It changes the person using it. If this experiment made you see AI differently, let me know in the comments. What's one challenge you'd like AI to help you solve? And if you enjoy honest experiments, practical lessons, and strategies that actually work, subscribe and join me for the next challenge. Because this was only 7 days. Imagine what happens in 30.